So Halloween is rolling around again, and with such a big holiday comes another holiday event. The community has come together and created a couple ideas for what the event should be and what it should reward you with. I've compiled what I believe to be the best 10 that I've come across, and I hope you enjoy. Number 10, Elven Ears. Now this one kinda just looks cool. There's not too much of a reason for it to necessarily be a Halloween reward unless elves are incorporated into the event somehow. Anyway, this suggestion managed to get 580 upvotes 3 months ago, so it's pretty clear people like it. Maybe it could be introduced as like a costume piece that you have to collect using the event. Regardless of how it's introduced, RuneScape could definitely use some more character customization. Someone in the comments suggests that having more beard and hairstyles would be a nice addition too. Number 9, Demon Skin. This one didn't get nearly as many upvotes as the last one, but I still think it's pretty cool. Basically, your character would be able to wear the same demon skin that Majta the Slayer Master has. You can't really see if he has horns or not, but I think it would be a pretty cool addition as well. Personally, I think this would be a very useful skin for video makers, especially those that make RuneScape machinimas or skits. Number 8, Pumpkin Dwarf Cannon. This one is probably one of the most random ones on the list, but it seems kind of fun. One of those why not type suggestions. Anyway, they suggested that on Halloween you should be able to buy a skin for 100k for your dwarf cannon. They say that the skin should be pumpkin themed, but don't go into too much detail on what it would actually look like. Someone in the comments goes on to suggest that the cannon should also fire pumpkins. To be honest, I don't even think the cannon would need a skin. Just being able to fire pumpkins would be worth the 100k. Number 7, Ghost Skin. This is another one of those things that would be very useful for video makers. Basically, you would unlock a skin that would make your player look like the ghosts at Port Phasmatis. This idea has also caused a huge amount of support with almost 700 upvotes. The post was originally created 2 years ago, and ironically got a reply from Mod Ghost. When he replied, he said the rewards had sadly already been pulled, but they could look into it next year. My guess is they never really got around to looking into it again, so having it introduced this year would be a nice touch. Number 6, Blue Zombie Skin and Walk. So supposedly the zombie skin was supposed to launch last year, but for some reason never did. I believe it had something to do with engine issues. Anyway, this year the skin is supposed to be released again. It won on a straw poll that Jagex was doing just a few weeks back. But if you actually look at the results, purple is winning by a landslide. That's actually because someone ended up botting it, so they just pulled the results from before it happened. Anyway, we're already getting the skin color, but a nice touch would be a zombie walk animation, much like the one seen in the picture. All I can imagine is how cool it would be to see a group of players dressed up like zombies running around the Grand Exchange like this. Plus, someone could make a pretty cool zombie movie with it. Number 5, Grim Reaper Death Animation. So during last year's Halloween event, whenever someone was killed by another player in the wilderness, the Grim Reaper would appear. He'd basically show up, hit them with a scythe, and say something, usually involving their username. What someone on Reddit suggested is keeping this as a permanent feature, so that the Grim Reaper would show up even when the Halloween event wasn't happening. Although I think this would be really cool, it could get annoying after a while. So instead, players in the comments suggested making him show up only for certain things. For example, whenever a hardcore Iron Man dies, or make it like a 1 in 1,000 chance to happen. Personally, I think the hardcore Iron Man suggestion sounds great and would love to see it implemented. Number 4, Count Dracula costume. This is another one of those added in because why not type things. Dracula is a very iconic monster in real life as well as in-game with Count Draenor. It would be pretty cool to unlock the costume that he wears. Once again, like the Elf Ears, they'd need to find a way to properly incorporate it. It wouldn't make too much sense to add it with no context. Players have also suggested that the costume should have special effects, like if someone has a steak and garlic in their inventory, then you die instantly. So maybe not that one, but it would be cool to see them give it some kind of effect. Number 3, Halloween Boss. Now this is an idea that I'd really love to see implemented. There should be some sort of boss that you have to fight to complete the Halloween event. I remember although RS3's event last year was kinda gruesome, they did include a fairly difficult boss battle at the end of it. I would love to see something similar introduced into Old School, especially since a lot of last year's event was puzzle-based. It would also be cool if you could defeat the boss without combat too. This way it would be fair to skillers who also wish to complete the event. Number 2, more old rewards. So Jagex has released quite a few rewards from RuneScape's past. An example of this would be the Halloween masks, scythe, and pumpkins. Something I've seen come up quite a few times is the rewards from 2008, 2009, and so on. Although they technically didn't exist back in 2007, I'd still consider them old rewards. There seems to be quite a bit of support specifically for the Web Cloak and the Warlock outfit. These released in 2009 and 2008 respectively. Although, like I mentioned, they came out after 2007, there still seems to be quite a bit of the player base supporting this idea, especially since most players who play 2007 now probably played back then too. I figured just throw it in a poll and see what happens. I wouldn't be too surprised if these got more votes than something like the purple, green, and blue skins. Number 1. Decorated Towns. Now this was my absolute favorite thing about Halloween in RuneScape, and is probably why I love the holiday so much now. Back in the 2008 Halloween event, Jagex decided to decorate Draenor, Remington, and the surrounding areas with special decorations. This really added to the Halloween vibes in those areas, and made players like myself a lot more excited for the event. These days, whenever an event or holiday happens, the decorated area is confined to an extremely small space. Chances are when you finish the event, you never go back to that area either. By decorating part of the world, the Halloween theme lasts all month, even after you've completed the event. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Once again, pretty much all of this month is just going to be Halloween themed videos, so I hope you liked it. Feel free to check out last week's video, as that'll be linked in the description and probably on screen now as well. So I'm gonna quit rambling and end the video. Thank you once again, and I will see you next time.